It is, perhaps, the most famous bridge in the world, an icon of design, a symbol of a city, and a testament to the power of human will. But before it was a landmark, the Golden Gate Bridge was known by another name, the bridge that couldn't be built. This isn't just a story about steel and concrete. It's a story of a brutal, decade-long fight against financial collapse, political opposition, and the raw, untamable power of the Pacific Ocean itself. Before the bridge, there was the Golden Gate, a 1-mile-wide strait connecting the San Francisco Bay to the Pacific. And it was a killer. This was no gentle river. It was a maelstrom of treacherous currents, winds that could reach 60 miles per hour, and a thick, corrosive salt fog that could blind sailors in an instant. For decades, the only way across was by ferry, a slow and often terrifying journey. The growth of San Francisco was being strangled by this gap. Everyone knew a bridge was needed, but every engineer who looked at it said the same thing. It was impossible. Everyone except one man, Joseph Strauss, a determined engineer who for over a decade waged a relentless campaign to get the bridge built. He faced lawsuits from ferry companies, opposition from politicians, and ridicule from the engineering elite. But Strauss had a vision. The design was a suspension bridge, an elegant solution to an impossible problem. The concept is brilliant in its simplicity. The road deck is held up by vertical steel ropes. Those ropes are attached to two massive main cables draped over two colossal towers. The entire weight of the bridge is then pulled by these cables into gigantic concrete anchorages buried deep in the earth. The key wasn't just strength, it was flexibility. The bridge had to be able to sway in the wind and bend during an earthquake. The plan was approved in 1930, just as the Great Depression began. With the nation in financial ruin, building the world's longest and tallest suspension bridge seemed like madness. But for thousands of workers, it was a lifeline. And the first task was to plant the bridge's giant concrete legs in the most dangerous place imaginable. Building the North Tower on the shore was straightforward. The South Tower, however, was a nightmare. It had to be built over 1,100 feet out in the open ocean, in 65 feet of turbulent water. To even begin, workers had to build a massive concrete wall, a fender, to protect the worksite from the crashing waves. They blasted away the seabed with dynamite, with divers descending into the murky chaos to clear the debris by hand. It was a brutal 2-year war against the ocean before the tower could even start to rise. Then the towers began their ascent. For months, teams of iron workers climbed higher and higher into the sky, riveting the steel plates together in the biting wind and blinding fog until the tower stood taller than the Washington Monument. The next step was to string the very heart of the bridge. The two main cables were not built in a factory. They were woven live in the air above the bay, a process called cable spinning. A spinning wheel shuttled back and forth, pulling a single steel wire from one anchorage over both towers to the other anchorage, wire after wire after wire. In total, over 80,000 miles of wire were enough to circle the Earth 3 times, were bound together to create the two main cables, each one 3 feet thick. Joseph Strauss knew the job was lethally dangerous, so he did something unheard of at the time. He spent $130,000 on a massive safety net suspended below the bridge from end to end. The net saved the lives of 19 men, who became known as the Halfway to Hell Club. But on February 17, 1937, tragedy struck. A section of scaffolding fell, ripping through the net and plunging 10 men to their deaths in the icy water below. It was a heartbreaking reminder of the true cost of this monumental undertaking. Despite the hardships, the work continued. Finally, on April 19, 1937, the last rivet, a rivet of solid gold, was hammered into place. The bridge was complete. On opening day, 200,000 people walked across the span, claiming the bridge for their own. And that iconic color? It was a happy accident. The steel arrived coated in a reddish-orange primer. The consulting architect, Irving Morrow, saw how it perfectly complemented the landscape and fought to keep it. The color, officially called International Orange, is what gives the bridge its life and warmth. The Golden Gate Bridge did more than connect a city, it defined it. It became a global symbol of ambition, beauty, and the courage to build the impossible. It stands not as a monument of cold steel, but as a work of art, a steel harp whose music is the sound of perseverance. The Golden Gate Bridge proved that the greatest feats of engineering could also be beautiful. It raises the question, what projects are we building today that will be seen as masterpieces a century from now? Let us know in the comments which mega project we should break down next. And if this story of defiance and design inspired you, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.